Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing well. So I'm here with the first update for my Pan That palette for my Naked 2 palette from Urban Decay. So last month I started this kind of Pan My Palette project. My goal with it is not to rush it. I think it might take me like this part of 2017 into 2018 to actually use up this palette. When I started this project last month, I had one shade completely used up, which is the Booty Call shade, which is a very kind of shimmery, like very light shade. That was previously used up, but I didn't have pan on any of the shades. And after a month of working on it, this is what my palette looks like currently. So the big difference, if you can see, in the Foxy shade, I have hit pan on it. So of all the shades, this is one I definitely use like on a daily almost basis. This is a good, I use it like a highlight shade. I really like matte highlight shades. Now the color isn't exactly perfect because it's more yellow than I would like, but it works and I have hit pan on it. I can also use this like as an all over the lid shade. So it's definitely been the shade I've used the most and hence I've hit pan on it. I was pretty close, I had a pretty good dip going on it, but I have hit pan at this point. So that's what my palette looks like currently. I don't have pan on any of the other shades. I would say the next one that I would hit pan on is Suspect. This one is also a very worn shadow. This tends to be the shade I wear on like a daily basis or like to work, just for like all over the lid shade. I tend to use this one. So I would think that would be the next one I'd hit pan on. But that's what my palette looks like currently. For this past month, my goal was just to use all of the shades. I just wanted to experiment with it. I didn't really have any goals in terms of like hitting pan or using up shades. I just wanted to use all the shades, and I definitely have. So besides Suspect being a really orange shadow and Foxy, another shade that I tend to wear a lot is YDK. This is another one I like wearing all over the lid. Like between Suspect and YDK, that tends to be my all over the lid shade for work. Also Foxy, sometimes I'll wear that all over the lid. So those are my kind of like go-to work shades, those three. Some other combinations I've been doing. So currently on my lid, I have a combination that I've really been enjoying lately. It does require me to use another shade. This is the Urban Decay shade Sin. So since I had used up the Booty Call shade, which is that shimmery light color, I wanted to have an option like Sin if I wanted to do something with a lighter shadow. So I've been currently doing a look where I put Sin on the inner like 1/3 of my eye. So something just light on the inner 1/3, something light and shimmery. And then for the outer 2/3, outer half of my eye, I go with YDK, which is just super pretty, almost sort of metallic. It's just a really nice shade. And then I have Tease in the crease. Tease from this palette is a great crease color. I really, really like it. That's mainly how I use Tease as a crease color in various looks. And then I use a little bit of Bustle in the outer corner just to deepen it up a little bit. And then I'll go with something like Foxy for the brow bone highlight. So that's a look I've really been liking, a combination I've really been liking. So that's what I'm wearing currently. So that's a look I've been doing a little more recently. And some other looks I've been doing or have done a handful of times with this palette. I've used Half Baked and Foxy together. So with this, I'll put Foxy like all over the lid, and then I'll just like kind of stamp or just put like a light swipe of Half Baked over that. Sometimes Half Baked can be a little bit intense just on its own, so that tones it down a little bit, makes it a little more wearable. So I like those two together. Chopper I really like. That's kind of an all-over lid shade as well. It's super pretty if I want to do something a little more coppery. That I really do like this shade. Of all of them, it does have the most sort of chunky glitter, so it can be a little bit hard to work with, but it is really pretty, so that's the shade. As I said, Tease is a crease color, so basically all the looks I like using Tease as a crease color. It works pretty well. Snakebite I've used a handful of times. This one too tend to use just as an all over lid shade if I want to do something a little darker. Then Suspect is my like kind of go-to work color. For Pistol and Verb, I was a little scared of these shades. Well, I just tend not to go through for like gray or silver color shades, but I found I really like pairing these together. So I kind of just layer one on top of the other and just do several layers with these two shades. I really like that kind of combination. I found that's my favorite way to wear these two shades is wear them together. So I've done that look a handful of times. Decay, as I said, one of my favorites from this palette. I can wear it on its own all over the lid like to work, or have it sort of paired with other things like I do today. Bustle I like to use to like deepen up shades. And then Blackout, the way I use Blackout is if I am wearing like a black liner. So I forgot to mention with today's look, I do have a liquid liner. Not super dramatic or anything, but then I just set it with Blackout. So that's the main way I use Blackout, is just sort of to set like eyeliner if I'm doing something with black liner, which I don't always do. I'm not really looking to use up Blackout, but I do want to use it when I can. So that's how I've been using this palette. I definitely have shades I lean to more, definitely Foxy, Suspect, and Decay, but I still am having lots of fun with this palette. I don't want to limit myself too much on it, like try to, use up a specific shade. I do want to kind of, keep as many shades in this palette as long as possible. Like I want to hit pan on stuff and see progress, but I don't necessarily want to just focus on using one shade up at a time like I did with my Naked palette. I really want to keep this palette intact as long as possible while using as many shades as possible. So maybe I'll hit pan on Suspect, but I don't necessarily have that as a goal for next month. I just want to continue using as many of these shades as possible and just kind of experimenting around with it a little bit more and seeing what sort of combinations I can come up with. So that's my palette update for this month. Slow start, but I've been really enjoying this palette. It's just been fun to play around with basically a whole palette and just see the different things I can do with it. So anyway, that is my update, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.